I know this has been a video that I should have made back on Friday, but there was some things I had to do at that time, so I apologize. Um, so Robert Mueller, he testified back on Thursday about just the overall investigation in Donald Trump about the whole idea of Russian collusion. Democrats take this as a means to find new evidence that may or may not incriminate Trump over these possible allegations, but instead they get the exact opposite. In fact, Robert Mueller just seems so out of place. I'm not even kidding. Whenever he had trouble following up with everyone else, he had trouble answering the questions. He had no idea sometimes what people was talking about. Like sometimes there were even things in his report that he should have known, and yet he obviously was confused about something like that. That goes to show how incompetent Robert Mueller is. But that's just the very tip of the iceberg, because as it turned out, when some of the lawyers and investigators within the Mueller investigation looked into Donald Trump, such as the guys who made that tweet about making sure that President Trump doesn't actually become president. That was back in 2016, by the way. He did not have a problem with the fact that there were some investigators that were affiliated with Clinton on his team. That goes to show how biased this report is, how biased the entire investigation was. But forget about the whole fact that it was a waste of time and money. $25 million and a little over 2 years to be exact. Forget about that. It was flawed from the start. And even then, when there was so much bias leaning against President Donald Trump, they could not find anything. The closest they could find is indictments from so-called Russian trolls and a few other people, which I think is Steele, I believe that is one of the people who are incriminated. But that's about it. Really, that's about it. All this only shows that the Democrats are living in a fantasy world, because they believe that the whole idea of impeachment was possible. But after this testimony, I'm pretty sure their whole idea of impeachment is just screwed beyond repair, because now they don't have a basis to stand upon that argument. They don't have a basis of the possibility of just supporting the clause of impeachment against President Donald Trump over the possibility of collusion with foreign agents. There is no ground upon that. But you know what's the sad thing about all this? The Democrats still want to continue on with impeachment. I do not understand why they're doing this. Honestly, I understand that a lot of people have been saying that they hate Donald Trump, and they even believe the crap that's spewed out of their own mouths. But I mean, this is a very dumb political move, especially after a few hours since that testimony ended. They said that exact same thing. They're going to continue to pursue impeachment. For what, though? There is no ground. Not even the whole idea of Donald Trump being supposedly racist, sexist, or homophobic. There's absolutely no ground on that whatsoever. Here's the thing. Here's the thing to debunk that whole idea of impeachment for just that claim. One, he's not a racist. You can look back on his background as the head of Trump Real Estate, I think it was. I can't remember, but he definitely has a major background. And apparently, there has been no real allegation or conviction that he was a racist. There was even one time back in the 70s where there was an accusation made against Donald Trump at the time, and he's after seeing I don't know the exact part of the case, but I would think that after seeing their side of the story, that he called BS and even went on to decide to sue these people for inflammatory actions, for just lying and just making up false accusations. So, again, that's just one issue where obviously Donald Trump is not a racist. Number two, if he was a racist or a sexist or a homophobe, that is still not grounds for impeachment. It does not say in the Constitution that the president cannot be racist, sexist, or homophobic. If that were the case, we wouldn't have presidents like Andrew Jackson, Woodrow Wilson, John Adams, John Adams, even though I don't think John Adams is sexist or anything. I'm just trying to tell the Democrats this BS. If that were the case, a lot of the previous presidents would not have become president. They would have already just been impeached and kicked out of office. So yeah, that's not real grounds for impeachment, and I do not understand how the Democrats continue to push this narrative. Because at this point, it contains more baggage for them, especially when it comes to the 2020 elections. And I think it's going to affect them even beyond, because ever since staking their claim with the whole Robert Mueller investigation, and especially with propping up the squad in the Democratic Party, it's becoming more and more of a negative. It's become more of a negative swing for the Democrats when it comes to getting more seats in either the House or the Senate, because they're being pushed or being framed as a socialist party. And honestly, I do not blame people for seeing them in that light, especially with the crap that's been going on. I honestly do not think that this is a good move that the Democrats are making, because all they're doing is beating up a dead horse. It didn't work the last few times, and it certainly isn't gonna work now. And if they continue on with this whole narrative that Donald Trump is a racist, sexist, homophobe, which honestly they've been doing for the past 3 years, if they continued this even into 2020, they're gonna have a significant drop of support. That I can guarantee you, especially with the massive amount of anti-white racism, socialist-leaning policies within the Democratic Party, and especially, which is especially pushed by the candidates for the 2020 elections. I do not believe that the Democrats are going to listen to me anyway, considering that I'm a Republican and a Trump supporter. They'll just probably think I'm a racist, sexist, or a homophobe. Or a Nazi, or literally Hitler. But here's the thing. For any Democrat out there, if you actually can listen, stop for 5 minutes, get your head out of your ass, and think. Take this from a Republican. Even though I should not be saying this because I'm from a different party, and in terms of politics, we are of different leanings. Here's the thing. Get your head out of your ass. Know when what some policies and some actions, political actions, are beneficial for the American people. If you continue to push heavily on something like the far left is doing, you are going to lose. not just in 2020, but possibly in future elections, 2022, 2024, 2026, 2028, and so on and so forth. That is the overall result of what will happen to the Democratic Party if you do not change. But hey, what do I know? You'll probably think that I'm a Nazi or just the reincarnation of Adolf Hitler. But again, if they do not change, if the Democrats do not change, and I do not expect that they will, not even after how much of a hole they dug themselves, I do not believe that they're going to change even prior to the 2020 elections. And that, I believe, is going to hit them real hard, real fast. My name is Noemi, and on The Arc Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends, and make sure you add any criticisms of what I'm doing with my videos and how I can improve them by either messaging me up above or putting it down in the comment section down below. Bye.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain.